What if I told you that a single, small nut you can eat every day might start reducing your enlarged prostate in less than 24 hours? No surgery, no costly prescriptions, no dangerous pills, just a natural food you can pick up from any grocery store. And yet, the majority of men over 60 have never heard about it. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara, a urologist with over 3 decades of experience helping men restore their health, comfort, and confidence. I've seen thousands of patients dealing with prostate problems, everything from restless nights due to endless bathroom trips, to that slow, frustrating stream, to the silent worry that it could be something worse. I know how much these issues eat away at your quality of life. Here's the shocking truth: scientific research on certain nuts has been around for years. Studies show some are packed with compounds that reduce inflammation, improve urine flow, and even boost sexual health. But these discoveries rarely reach the men who need them most. Instead, many believe their only choices are drugs or surgery. In this video, I'll reveal the 5 most effective nuts for naturally shrinking your prostate, backed by solid science, and show you exactly how to use them for maximum benefit. And before we finish, I'll share a quick trick to eat one of them so it works faster than you thought possible. Stick with me. This could be the turning point your prostate has been waiting for. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss my prostate health tips made for men over 60. And after watching, drop a comment type 1 if this helped, or 0 if you think I can make it even better. Now, let's get into the first powerhouse nut on the list, the one I recommend to nearly every man who walks through my door. It's small, it's easy to find, and the science behind it for reducing prostate enlargement is solid pumpkin seeds. Asterisk nut number 1, pumpkin seeds. When I think back over more than 30 years in practice, one patient story always comes to mind when I talk about pumpkin seeds. A 67-year-old retired fireman came to me utterly exhausted. He was waking up 5, sometimes 6 times a night to use the bathroom. His stream was so weak, he'd stand there for minutes straining, waiting, and feeling humiliated in his own home. He told me he was tired, frustrated, and running out of hope. He'd tried medications, but they left him dizzy and drained his desire for intimacy, something he wasn't ready to give up. That's when I suggested something so simple he almost laughed: pumpkin seeds. Now, before you dismiss this as some old wives' tale, know that it's backed by solid science. Pumpkin seeds are one of nature's richest sources of zinc. And here's why that matters. Your prostate acts like a zinc storage tank. It holds more zinc per gram than almost any organ in your body. But as we age, zinc levels often drop, leaving the prostate more vulnerable to inflammation and overgrowth. Studies show low zinc is strongly linked to benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, the very condition behind those frustrating urinary problems. But zinc isn't the only star here. Pumpkin seeds are also rich in a plant compound called beta-sitosterol, a phytosterol that helps block testosterone from converting into dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. If testosterone is the fuel for normal male health, DHT is like a turbocharger. That makes the prostate grow too quickly. Lowering DHT slows this overgrowth, and in many cases, helps shrink the prostate back toward a healthier size. I've seen these results again and again. In just weeks of adding pumpkin seeds to their daily routine, men report fewer bathroom trips at night, stronger flow, and the freedom to go about their day without mapping out every restroom. Some notice changes even sooner. That retired fireman? Within 3 days of eating a daily handful raw, unsalted, and well-chewed, he was down to waking only twice a night. By week 2, he slept through the night for the first time in years. The look on his face reminded me why I love this work. Pumpkin seeds have another hidden benefit: magnesium. This mineral helps muscles relax, which means your bladder can empty more completely. That's a game changer for men who constantly feel like they didn't quite finish, even after standing there for minutes. But for best results, you have to eat them right. Skip the sugary candied versions and the ones drenched in salt or oil. Go for raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds, also called pepitas. A small handful, about 1 to 2 ounces daily, is enough for most men. For an extra boost, soak them overnight and eat them first thing in the morning. This makes their nutrients easier for your body to absorb. There's something empowering about knowing a simple, inexpensive food can help you take control of a problem that makes so many men feel powerless. You don't need to wait for a prescription or a procedure. You can start today. Walk into almost any grocery store, spend just a few dollars, and take that first step towards sleeping through the night, regaining energy, and protecting your prostate for years to come. I've always believed nature gives us what we need. We just have to know where to look. And for prostate health, pumpkin seeds are one of those gifts. But they're not the only one. There's another nut that works in a completely different way, protecting your prostate at the cellular level and even lowering the risk of prostate cancer in some studies. Best part? You only need 1 or 2 a day. Let's talk about that. Next, asterisk nut number 2. Brazil nuts. If pumpkin seeds are my top choice for calming inflammation and easing urinary problems. Brazil nuts are the quiet powerhouse that too many men overlook. I'll never forget a patient named George, 72 years old, who had been through what he called the prostate roller coaster. Years of symptoms that came and went, rounds of medications, short periods of relief, followed by frustrating flare-ups, and a constant worry about what might happen next. By the time he came to see me, he was worn out from chasing one fix after another. As we talked, I noticed something missing from his diet: selenium. And that's where Brazil nuts come in. They're, without question, the richest natural source of selenium on Earth. Just 1 or 2 a day will give you more than your daily requirement. That's a good thing, because selenium is one of the most powerful minerals for protecting prostate cells at the microscopic level. It's not only about controlling inflammation. Selenium works as a potent antioxidant, neutralizing free radicals, those unstable molecules that damage DNA and speed up aging in the prostate. Studies have linked low selenium to a higher risk of prostate cancer, and to me, that's a connection no man can afford to ignore. The beauty of Brazil nuts is that you don't need handfuls to get results. In fact, too many can cause selenium toxicity. Precision matters here. 1 to 2 nuts per day is all it takes to give your body long-lasting protection. I often tell patients Brazil nuts are like prostate insurance, a small daily investment that pays off in future security. George was doubtful at first. He'd heard over and over that once the prostate is enlarged, diet can't do much. Still, he agreed to try. I told him, add 2 Brazil nuts to breakfast every morning, chew them well, and drink a glass of water with them. We kept everything else the same so we could see the impact clearly. 3 months later, George walked back into my office smiling. His PSA levels, a key prostate health marker, had dropped slightly, which is always encouraging. But even better, the dull pelvic pressure he'd been living with had eased. He was sleeping better. He had more daytime energy. And most importantly, he felt like he was actively steering his own recovery instead of waiting for the next prescription. Beyond selenium, Brazil nuts are also loaded with healthy monounsaturated fats that help maintain hormone balance. And as men age, keeping testosterone steady without letting too much convert into DHT is key for slowing prostate growth. They're also a good source of magnesium, which works alongside selenium to relax the muscles in the urinary tract, making it easier to fully empty the bladder. Quality matters here. Always choose raw or dry roasted Brazil nuts from a trusted source. Because they're rich in oil, they can spoil if stored poorly. So keep them in an airtight container in the fridge to preserve their potency. And remember, stick to that 1 or 2 a day rule. More is not better. What I've noticed is that when men start adding Brazil nuts to their routine, something shifts. It's no longer just about fixing a problem. It's about building resilience, protecting their health, and feeling empowered with knowledge most men never get from their doctors. It's a small change with a big impact, especially when combined with other prostate-friendly foods. George still emails me now and then to say he's keeping up the habit. He calls them his secret weapon, and I remind him it's not much of a secret anymore, at least not to my patients. But while Brazil nuts are outstanding for their antioxidant and protective benefits, the next nut I'm going to share works in a completely different way. Instead of simply defending the prostate from damage, it actively boosts circulation and calms inflammation in the pelvic region, 2 things that can improve both urinary function and sexual performance. And the best part? It's one of the tastiest nuts you'll ever snack on. Nut number 3, walnuts. You'll never forget the first time I explained to a patient that walnuts were far more than just a snack. His name was Frank, 68 years old, a retired mechanic with hands still strong as steel, but a body that had begun slowing in ways he didn't like. He came in for the same reasons I hear from so many men: his age-broken sleep from nighttime bathroom trips, a weak, hesitant stream, and a growing frustration he couldn't shake. But as we talked, I picked up on something else. Frank wasn't just worried about his prostate. He said he'd been feeling sluggish, his mind a little foggy, and his energy wasn't what it used to be. That's when I knew walnuts needed to be part of our discussion. Walnuts stand out among nuts because they're one of the best plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. These healthy fats do much more than protect your heart. They help lower inflammation throughout the body, including the prostate. Chronic inflammation is one of the hidden forces behind prostate enlargement, and it's also tied to an increased risk of more serious prostate issues later in life. By adding omega-3 South to your diet consistently, you help your body quiet that inflammation, creating a healthier environment for your prostate to function. But the benefits of walnuts go beyond omega-3 South. They're rich in antioxidants like ellagic acid and polyphenols, which protect prostate cells from oxidative stress, the gradual free radical damage that comes with aging. I've seen patients who add walnuts to their daily routine notice not only better urinary flow, but also improved mental sharpness and steadier physical energy. It's as if the whole system starts running more efficiently, like a well-oiled machine. For Frank, this was a new perspective. He'd always thought of food as something to fill him up, not fuel his body. I explained that the prostate isn't an isolated organ, it's part of an interconnected network. When you boost circulation, reduce inflammation, and protect cells, you're helping your urinary function, brain health, heart health, and even your sexual performance. Walnuts, with their unique mix of omega-3 South, antioxidants, and healthy protein, are a bridge to all of those benefits. Blood flow is especially important. The same arteries that carry oxygen-rich blood to your heart also supply your pelvis and prostate. If those pathways narrow or clog, your prostate suffers, and so does your ability to maintain sexual function. Walnuts improve endothelial function, the health of the lining of your blood vessels, so blood flows more freely where it's needed most. Many men notice this benefit even when they weren't expecting it. Frank's new habit was simple: one small handful of raw walnuts every afternoon. Within weeks, he told me he was sleeping better, waking up less often at night. His energy was more stable, and he even joked that his wife had been smiling at him more. His improved circulation was clearly paying off in more than one way. When buying walnuts, Choose raw or lightly toasted and store them in the fridge to keep their oils from going rancid. 1 handful a day, about an ounce, is plenty. If you want to take it a step further, pair walnuts with fruit or vegetables high in vitamin C, which can help your body absorb their antioxidants more effectively. What I love most about walnuts is how they work on multiple fronts, reducing inflammation, improving blood flow, protecting delicate cells, and sharpening mental clarity. They're proof that a single, consistent dietary choice can improve your quality of life in ways you can feel. But as great as walnuts are, the next nut works in a slightly different way. Instead of focusing mainly on circulation and inflammation, it delivers a powerful burst of antioxidants while supporting balanced hormone levels. And the best part, it's one of the most popular snack nuts in America, and you might already have a jar of it sitting in your kitchen. Asterisk. Nut number 4. Almonds. Almonds have a special place in my own life. When I was a young doctor just starting out, I visited my grandfather in India. Every morning, without fail, he'd hand me a small handful of raw almonds that had been soaking overnight in a glass of water. He never used words like antioxidants or vitamin E. Instead, he'd simply say, "These will keep your mind sharp and your body strong." At the time, I thought it was just an old family tradition. Decades later, after years of studying men's health and prostate function, I realized my grandfather had been right all along. Almonds are a quiet but powerful ally for the male body, especially as we age. For the prostate, almonds bring something particularly valuable: vitamin E. This fat-soluble antioxidant works like a protective shield for your cells, defending them from oxidative stress, the kind of damage that accelerates aging and fuels inflammation. Prostate tissue is especially sensitive to oxidative damage, and I've often noticed that men who get enough vitamin E tend to have better urinary comfort and fewer flare-ups of BPH symptoms. But the benefits don't stop there. Vitamin E also supports immune health, helping your body fight off the low-grade infections that can make urinary issues worse. Almonds are also a great source of magnesium, a mineral that helps relax muscles, including those in your bladder and urinary tract. When these muscles can relax fully, you can empty your bladder more completely, meaning fewer urgent trips to the bathroom and more relief after you go dot. And then there are the healthy fats. Almonds' mix of monounsaturated fats and plant-based protein supports steady energy, balanced hormones, and healthy cholesterol levels, all of which matter when you're protecting not just your prostate, but your overall vitality. I think of a patient named Daniel, 64 years old, who came to see me with a familiar list of complaints: waking multiple times at night, a stream that had lost strength, and that frustrating feeling of never quite emptying. His bladder. He was already doing a lot right, walking daily, staying hydrated, keeping his weight in check, but his diet was missing key nutrients. We decided to add almonds, not as a dessert or a treat, but as a daily habit. Daniel liked the idea of something simple he could do without overhauling his whole life. He started with 10 raw almonds each morning, soaked overnight and peeled, just like my grandfather used to prepare them. 3 weeks later, he came back and told me he was now waking only once a night. His stream felt stronger, his daytime energy was better, and he even noticed he wasn't as irritable in the afternoons. The magnesium was helping his muscles relax, but the steady nutrient delivery was also keeping his mood and focus more stable, a bonus many men don't expect. When it comes to almonds, I recommend raw or dry roasted, unsalted varieties. The salted and flavored ones you find in convenience stores often come loaded with sodium or sugar, which can undo some of their benefits. Store them in a cool, dry place, and if you soak them overnight, refrigerate them during the soak to preserve freshness. About 1 ounce a day, around 23 almonds, is a good sweet spot for most men. One reason I recommend almonds, so often is their versatility. Eat them plain, chop them into oatmeal, blend them into smoothies, or sprinkle them over a salad. The key is consistency. A few here and there won't make much difference, but a daily habit, kept over months and years, can become a cornerstone of your prostate health strategy. What strikes me most is how these small, intentional changes add up. Daniel didn't feel like he'd made a dramatic lifestyle shift, but the results reminded him that taking control of his health doesn't have to be overwhelming. Sometimes, it's as simple as adding one powerful food into your daily routine and letting time do the rest. And while almonds deliver an excellent blend of antioxidants, minerals, and healthy fats, the final nut on our list has its own unique edge. It shares a key compound with pumpkin seeds 1 that directly targets the hormonal pathway driving prostate growth. But it also brings a richness and flavor that make it one of the most satisfying snacks you can eat. Nut number 5. Pecans. Pecans often surprise my patients when I recommend them for prostate health. Most people think of them only as the sweet, buttery filling in a holiday pie, not as a nutrient-rich food with serious medicinal value. One patient, in particular, comes to mind. Robert, a 70-year-old retired high school principal. He prided himself on eating well, but admitted that nuts weren't part of his daily life. When I mentioned pecans, he chuckled. "Doc, the only time I eat those is at Thanksgiving?" I smiled and told him, "Well, it's time to change that. Your prostate will thank you." Pecans are one of nature's richest sources of beta-sitosterol, the same plant sterol found in pumpkin seeds that helps block the conversion of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, DHT. As I've explained to many men, DHT is one of the main hormones that drives prostate enlargement. By reducing DHT production, beta-sitosterol can help slow the growth of the prostate and, in many cases, relieve the pressure it puts on the bladder and urethra. That can mean fewer urgent bathroom trips, a stronger urine stream, and a better night's sleep. But pecans bring more than hormone balance. They're loaded with antioxidants, more than many fruits and vegetables, which help protect the delicate tissues of the prostate from oxidative stress. This matters because oxidative damage over time not only contributes to benign enlargement, but can also set the stage for more serious conditions. Their healthy fats, primarily monounsaturated fats, support cardiovascular health, which in turn improves circulation to the pelvic region. Better blood flow means better nutrient delivery, faster healing, and even support for sexual function. When Robert started adding pecans to his diet, I gave him a simple plan: a small handful each day, eaten raw or lightly roasted without added sugar or heavy salt. He swapped them in for his long-time afternoon snack of crackers and cheese. The first change he noticed was in his digestion. The fiber in pecans kept him feeling satisfied longer, so he stopped grazing in the evenings. Over the next month, his sleep improved. He was waking only once a night instead of 3 or 4 times. His stream felt stronger, and he no longer had that nagging sensation of not fully emptying his bladder. But the part that struck me most was what he said next. I didn't realize how much I'd accepted the discomfort. I thought it was just part of getting old. Now I feel like I've got a little piece of my life back. That's the power of a simple, consistent habit. It's not just the physical symptoms that improve, but the confidence and sense of control that come with them. Of course, pecans are calorie-dense, so portion control matters. For most men, about 1 ounce a day, roughly 18 to 20 halves, is enough to get the benefits without overdoing it. Buy them fresh, store them in an airtight container in the fridge or freezer to preserve their natural oils, and enjoy them on their own or as a topping for oatmeal, salads, or mixed with other prostate-friendly nuts for variety. Time and again, I've seen that when men add foods like pecans to their daily routine, They stop feeling like passive patients waiting for the next prescription and start feeling like active participants in their long-term health. Robert still sends me a photo every Thanksgiving of his pecan pie, joking that it's doctor approved, as long as he keeps his daily handful going year-round. And he's right. The pie isn't the point. It's the steady, consistent habit that makes the difference. Now that we've covered 5 powerful nuts, each with its own unique benefits. For your prostate, knowing about them is only half the battle. In the next section, I'll give you a simple, step-by-step plan so you can start today, make it sustainable, and feel the difference sooner than you might think. Asterisk, what you need to do today. By now, you've heard me talk about 5 powerful nuts each, with its own unique role in protecting your prostate, reducing inflammation, and improving your quality of life. But let's be honest, hearing about them and actually making them part of your daily life are 2 very different things. I've seen too many men nod along in my office, promise they'll make changes, and then slip right back into the same habits that were holding them back. I don't want that for you. If you've made it this far, I know you're serious about taking action. So let's make this simple. Step 1. Choose your starting 2. Pick at least 2 of the nuts we've discussed and commit to adding them to your daily routine starting tomorrow morning. Not next week, not when you get around to it. Action is what creates change, and change begins with a single step. You want fast results? Start with pumpkin seeds for their almost immediate effect on urinary flow, and Brazil nuts for their deep cellular protection. You can add the others as you go, but those 2 alone can start moving you in the right direction. Step 2. Buy the right kind. Choose high-quality raw or lightly roasted nuts, no heavy salt, sugar, coatings, or artificial flavors. These extras undo much of the good you're trying to achieve. Freshness matters too. Store them in airtight containers, and for high-oil nuts like walnuts and pecans, keep them in the fridge or freezer so they don't go rancid. Step 3. Make it automatic. Decide exactly when and how you'll eat them each day. Will you have almonds with breakfast, pecans as an afternoon snack, pumpkin seeds in the morning after soaking them overnight? The more specific your plan, the more likely you are to stick with it. Pair your nuts with an existing habit: your morning coffee, your mid-afternoon break, or your favorite TV show. Step 4. Control your portions. For most men, 1 to 2 ounces a day is enough. With Brazil nuts, never more than 2 per day. Selenium is powerful, but too much can cause harm. This isn't about eating as many as you can. It's about getting a steady supply of the nutrients your prostate needs. Step 5. Track your progress. Keep a simple journal. Note your nighttime bathroom visits, urine flow, energy levels, and even mood. It might seem tedious, but I've found men who track their progress are far more likely to notice and celebrate small wins. Those little victories fuel your motivation to keep going. Step 6. Create accountability. Tell someone, a spouse, friend, or son, what you're doing. Saying it out loud creates accountability, and accountability dramatically increases your odds of success. You might even inspire another man to take his own prostate health seriously, creating a ripple effect that matters more than you know. This isn't a magic pill. It's a partnership between you and your body. Give it the right materials, and it will respond, sometimes in days, sometimes in weeks. But if you stay consistent, the benefits will build. And the confidence that comes from knowing you're actively protecting your health, that's priceless. So now you have a choice. Will this be just another article you read, or the turning point where you take control? You don't have to do everything at once. Just start with 1 handful a day, 1 better choice at a time. Because while I've shown you the nuts that can help, and I've given you the steps to take, there's still 1 more thing I need to share. Something every man over 60 should hear before he makes his next move. Asterisk, it's not about food, medicine, or even exercise at least, not entirely. Without the final piece we'll discuss, none of the other steps will matter. But before we get there, let's look back at what we've covered. We've explored 5 powerful nuts that can help protect, and in some cases, shrink your prostate. Pumpkin seeds for their zinc and beta-sitosterol, Brazil nuts for selenium, walnuts for omega-3 south, almonds for vitamin E, and pecans for antioxidants and hormone balance. Each one brings its own unique benefit, but together they form a natural, science-backed strategy to take back control of your prostate health. I've seen these simple foods change lives, not with gimmicks or overnight miracles, but through steady, daily choices that add up. I think of the men who now sleep through the night, who no longer dread long car rides, who regained a confidence they thought was gone forever. I also think of my own family and the traditions that carried wisdom long before science gave us the proof. The truth is, you have more influence over your health than you may realize. Start small. Stay consistent. Trust your body to respond. This isn't the end of the road. It's the beginning of a healthier, more comfortable, more confident chapter of your life. And it starts today.